You're welcome to this tutorial in graphics today, and we're going to look at something different from the interactive shadow tool we learned the last time we were here. Now, before doing that, don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel and also click the notification bell so that you'll be one of the first people that will have access to the videos when they drop. Thank you. I want to let us know something. That most times you are designing and you really want to, you want your design to fit into a particular dimension. You want it to fit into a particular space. That calls for measurement. And we have so many measuring units. If we head on to your property bar here, first and foremost, let's change here. Let's say we're designing on A4. We're going to lay our work on A4. And it's going to be on a portrait. This portrait, the orientation, page orientation. It could be portrait, or it could be landscape. Portrait or landscape. Now when you come over here, you see units. This is in millimeters. You can change the drawing units to inches. Most people use inches. Some may decide to use feet, yards, depending on what the one that best defines what you want to do. Most of the carpenter man, most of them, they use inches and they also use feet. So whatever, but just know that these are drawing units. So let me leave it at inches. Let's say I want to design something and it's going to span through 4 by 3 inches. So what do I do? Yeah, I'm going to print the work on A4, but I really want it to be 4 by 3. Let's say 4 by 3 inches. What I will do is this. I will come over to my rectangular tool. The shortcut key is F6. I'll click on it. I'll come to my work area and then drag out. Now when I drag out, if you want, you can drop your tool. How do we drop this rectangle tool? You can drop it by pressing your space bar. If you come here to click pick tool, it's going to take time. Just press your space bar and you see automatically the tool, which is rectangular tool, has been dropped, and then your selection tool or your pick tool is activated. Now, having drawn this, this is not my dimension. Now the question now is, what's the dimension of this? This is the height, this is the width. Now when you come here, where you have your dimension, you have your object, size, you have this for your horizontal distance, this for your vertical distance. So here it's trying to explain to us that this boss I've drawn here is 2.778 inches by 2.993 inches. So most times you want to design and they say, design on 4 by 3 inches, just like I earlier mentioned. So what do? You just come here and then you type in your 4. You can press your tab key to move to the next button, which is for your height. You type in your 3. This is 4 by 3. When you're done typing, you click inside here, or you can press enter to activate the new measurement. So this is just what we want. So when you design inside this work, it's going to, and you print it, it's going to fit accurately to wherever surface you want to place it. So this is just a small talk on measurement. Measurement is very, very important, and then as time goes on, we'll look at other things about measurement. So, but also know something. We learned about shadow tool. Let it be known that whatever we are doing to a text, we can actually apply that same thing to a shape. So instead of wasting time, we'll just apply it on one, which is the text. When you are now practicing, you can also see how that effect, like an interactive tool, how the properties of that interactive tool plays out, the properties play out on the shape also. So take note of that. So let's delete this. And then, your shortcut key for text is test 2 is F8. So you can click here or you can type your F8. So you head over here and then you click. And then I type heaven is real. So that's heaven is real. And if you notice, every other tool you have here, when you finish using them, you can press your space bar to drop them. But when it comes to your text tool, you don't just use only space bar. You have to hold down your control key before adding the space bar. Because if you don't hold down your control key, pressing space bar is like giving a space. You see? Yeah. So you can't use space bar to drop this tool. So you have to hold your control key, control space bar. You see, the text tool has been dropped and then your pick tool is activated. So just like I said, we'll hold here and expand it. You come over here to change your font. That's font is the typeface of the character. So we can use a normal font. Let's say this time one I used the other time. I think so. So we drag and expand. I remember telling us the best way to expand a text. So this is where we are. Now, this heaven is free. And I really want this heaven is free to be positioned at the center of my page, this A4. What do I do? Why it is here? So this heaven is free. Look at where it is positioned. Now, when you press the P, just your P, nothing attached to it, just your P. When you press the P, it takes you to the center of the page. Heaven is free. So why at the center? Let's say you really want to reduce, or let's say increase the size of heaven is free. You don't come here and drag, or come here and drag. When you are dragging from here, see, it's only one side that is being affected. When you are dragging from here, it is the left that is affected. So do Ctrl Z. So now that you are the center of this work, if you really want to increase this, you must hold down your shift key. Like say I'm here. You see the arrow, the diagonal line is pointing. You see how it's pointing? Just one of it. When I apply the shift key and go back there, see, it's showing me two diagonal lines, meaning that those 4 points are covering the 4 corners of your text. So with here, while holding the shift key, I will drag. You see, I'm still maintaining the center. You see, so let's say I leave it here. But mind you, in leaving it, you will leave your mouse button first before leaving the shift key. So I leave my mouse button before leaving the shift key. All right, so now this heaven is free. So we're going to do something else different from what we did. So let's scroll. When you scroll up, you zoom in. Yeah, you zoom in. So when you scroll down, you zoom out. So these are zoom in, these are zoom out. So use your scroll button. If your mouse has one, use your scroll button to actualize that. Now, so let's give this a color. Let's say we're working with the blue color. Yeah, blue color. All right. So we're working with interactive tools, and this is where we got our interactive tool. So we click here. We've already done work with our shadows, so we want to look at something else we can do with interactive tool. So we'll head on to this one they call interactive envelope tool. So let's click on it. The next place your focus should be is on the property bar. You see your property bar over here. Your property bar explains, or it comes with it, everything or every property that are contained in a particular tool you are using. And right now we're using the interactive envelope tool. So let's see what we can use this interactive envelope tool to do. Yeah. So over here we have presets. Presets are when something is preset, meaning there are default settings that very tool came with, which we can apply here. Let's try it out. This preset, mind you, we have envelope 1 is what's happening. Yes, we have envelope 2. Let's Ctrl Z. So we're trying them one after the other. Envelope 2, it has an effect. You may not notice it. We have envelope 3. You see? Yeah. So I have envelope 4. That's how it is. I have envelope 5. You see? And then we have envelope 6. That's it. But now I hardly use those presets because I always want to do my thing the way I want it. So let's head over to here, this is where my focus is. We have different types of this envelope tool. We have envelope straight line mode. We have our envelope single arc mode. We have our envelope double arc mode, and we have one they call envelope unconstrained mode. So we're going to work with them all together. Permit me to do Control D here. Control D means duplicate. So let's duplicate this like 1, 2. Yeah. So let me arrange them here so we can work with them one after the other. So this 7 is real. So let's head on to envelope 2 and let's use envelope straight line mode. So when you click on straight line mode, you see that we have different, we call these things points or nodes, N-O-D-E, nodes. You can head over here to drag out this way. You see, this straight line mode, this envelope straight line mode, you see how there's a sharp cut, just like when you're roofing your house, there's a sharp cut when you drag this. If you come over here and drag it down, you see what has happened. You've changed how this perspective, you've changed the perspective of the text. Now I can decide to move this up. It's all my choice. I can make it not to be too steep. You see how it is? I can come here. All these things are for you to work with. Whatever you do, whenever you hold any of these points and you drag down, it's going to alter the perspective of the shape of it. So for instance, I may decide to move this one up, meaning that the L heaven is shortened, is real from here to the end, especially the real is larger. So these are how you play around with text, and you can use this to design. You can use it to design, apply to your design, and make it look spectacular and unique. So that's for straight line. So all these things are for you, all these things, but there are other things we need to harness with this. So let's get on to this. We click on our envelope 2. Now we're not using the straight line mode, we're now using single arc mode. So I click on single arc mode. When I click on single arc mode, you see this one is having some curved arc. It's called single arc because there's an arc somewhere. So here I will pull up. Now if was that what is happening, if I pull here, it's going alone. Sorry, we're working with single arc. If I pull here, only one side is pulling. But if I want these two adjacent or opposite nodes to move with me, I'll hold down, I'll go back to my single arc mode, hold down my control key and drag. When you hold down your control key and drag, all of them will be moving with you in the same direction. You see, I can move it down to give me something that is curved this way, that's curved in. You can move it this way to give you something that looks like this. That looks so beautiful. So mind you, what we are using now is the single arc mode. You see that the orientation is different from this. So we need all of them for whatever we need to do. Then one more, or second to the last, is what we call the double arc mode. The double arc mode is more like a hue. It's more like a hue. So let's look at how it goes. Now when you click on the double arc mode, let me hold control key and drag. It's what is happening. It's what's happening. It's a bit coming in and it's bulging out and it's going in again. So if you look at these three things, they are so distinct from each other. They are unique and they have their own features. Now, let me tell you something very, very important. If you observe, when I'm dragging this down, if you see there's an arrow here and there's another arrow here, meaning that we can hold these things, hold this arrow and tilt it to any direction. But you can't do this. The same thing to here. When you click here, there's still this arrow, meaning that we can drag this to adjust, but it won't work. So why is it like that? It is like that because your this other first one, which is the straight line mode, the single arc mode and the double arc mode, they all are constrained, meaning you can't do anything else than to just make use of what have been given to you. I can't alter anything. I can just drag down, I'll drag up, and do whatever. I can't. Okay. My question now is, what if I want heaven is the ease? Let's say I want only this ease to be large. Let's say I want to push it, let it come out, so that it will be somehow different from this other. I can't do it. So how do we now settle that? We can only settle that. Permit me to Ctrl Z so that we can have a straight work like this. Now, under this last one, which is what? Envelope unconstrained mode. Unconstrained mode, when something is unconstrained, meaning it's not constrained. Furthermore, it means that there's a freedom to adjust whatever you want to adjust. You have the freedom to move in or move out, to go anywhere you want to go. So how do we go? So when it is under unconstrained mode, I can move this like this. I will not see what's happening. I can drag this arrow I showed you before. I have the freedom now to drag it anyhow I want it to be. You see what I'm doing? Yeah. You see what is happening? So I can alter how these things are laid out. Secondly, if you notice, let's say I want to work with this E. Heaven is real. The E under heaven is real. I want to work with this. Now, if you notice, there is no node here. Yes, there is no node. Meaning, if I'm moving this only node, after this one that is here, after this node, the next node is this. So if I drag this, you see, everything is affected. But I don't want everything to be affected. I just want the E. So what do? I can come head on to this line here and double click. You can double click. You should know how to double click now. You just do 2 successive clicking very fast. No breathing space between the first click and the second click. So when I double click, you see what has happened? I'm able to introduce a node here. Yeah. So watch out. Watch what I'm going to do. I'll also come here at the edge of this line and double click again. I've created another one and 2. Then I'll come here too and double click. I've created another one. I see. So I have a middle one. What am I creating here, and then the middle? The middle here is focusing on the E, but I'm trying to lock up left and right so that whatever I'm doing to E will not, have great impact on the left and right of the E. So let's go on and drag this up. E. It's what has happened. Because I locked up here and locked up here, only the E will be affected by my action. I can drag it in. Heaven is real. So whatever we are doing here, please, you can actually do that on a shape. I think using this envelope tool, I think I need to get a shape. Let me get a rectangle. Use a rectangle. So you have your shape here, and on this shape, we can, let's delete this first. So this is the shape. So watch what I'm going to do to this shape so that it looks beautiful. Now, my envelope tool, let me use the single arc. So I can hold my control key and drag it, you see. See how the shape is looking? So beautiful. And I can as well hold my control key, drag it down. And if I don't want that way, maybe I just want one side to bulge in. I can just, mind we are using single arc, bring it this way, you see, or you can bring it down. Single arc, you can bring this down. All right, so this is how and you can also bring this one down alone. So this is how we can transform this shape, and it looks so amazing. You don't need to bug yourself on how to do this using the shape. I think we are good to go with this. So this is how we apply the envelope tool, interactive envelope to